We all come from somewhere. We all have a story. We all have dreams which we aspire to achieve in this lifetime and the next. If we could share our stories, what would they be called? If our journeys were just books that lined the shelves of an ancient architecture once known as the local library, which aisle would people have to walk in to search for us, for our truths? Would they know us by name? Or perhaps a deed we've laid claim to during our temporary stay here on planet Earth? Me, my story, well, I've lived my life constantly recreating myself, with the goal in mind to become a better person, to become someone worth existing on this planet. And I find myself by helping others do the same, helping them to find themselves and be able to look into a mirror and like what they see reflecting back, helping them learn to love themselves, and honestly, I think that will always be my greatest accomplishment in life. Being able to reach so many people and to encourage and inspire them to love their lives with passion and without regret. I'm always changing, always growing, and I can remember that from a very young age that I wasn't like the rest of the kids. I was always different somehow, but I could never place my finger on what it was exactly that made me so different from everybody else. I can remember when I was young that I liked a certain aspect of humanity that many of the other kids didn't seem to understand as much as I did. Uniqueness. And one day I stumbled across it in the world around me in one of the most unlikely forms. A caterpillar. This caterpillar became my favorite animal growing up. Because even though they were small, like I was, they were beautiful. They were gentle and colorful and kind. And when they transformed, they transcended their uniqueness in order to create a new definition of beauty, redefining itself and what it once stood for into something greater. I think that's what I loved most about them. I can remember wanting to be like that, never realizing that I already was. I can remember as a child I would eat caterpillars. I know, I was a weird child. But my thought process was, well, surely if I eat this caterpillar, then it will be with me forever. And then I'll always have that uniqueness and beauty within me. They would always be my friends, and I'd never have to be alone. And though the butterflies in my stomach turned out to be a figure of speech, as a kid I really believed in that. It wasn't until later in life where I learned that my childhood logic was beyond flawed, and I eventually learned to find beauty in other things, and to stand on my own, to stand for something. Even when the other kids would tell me that I was too stupid to understand it, I could tell that I was just understanding the world in a different way. I found myself in the form of a caterpillar, small, insignificant, and I was often overlooked. So, alone from within my cocoon, I reshaped myself and my outlook on life. And through the darkness and the torture of the other children and the hateful people in my life, as they burned me, as they stepped on me and crushed everything that I stood for, they had no idea that I would climb out from the rubble and rise from the ashes of my smoldering cocoon, a butterfly, with a mind intent on recreating everything they could never wrap their minds around to begin with. I stand now stronger than I was the day before, and I aim to continue reshaping myself into something better until I've become the best version of myself that I could ever hope to achieve. Until I can see a world without hate, without people feeling trapped inside of their darkness, searching for a better life from within the constricted limits of their cocoons. Don't let those who don't wish to see you happy or succeed dictate when your life should be over. Don't be afraid to transform into something beautiful. Love yourself and your uniqueness, because it only takes a spark to ignite a flame. And may the flame within your heart never extinguish. Aim always to become your greatest version, because even though life can sometimes make you feel as though there's no possible way to continue on, there is greatness within you, burning to be let loose onto the world. You are you, and there is nothing more beautiful than that. Even when you feel small, when you feel insignificant, and as though no one cares whether you make it or not, remember that there is a butterfly within you. waiting for you to break free of your cocoon. It'll be hard. It may seem impossible, and at times you may feel like giving up, but if there was only one truth I have that I've shared with you, that you take with you on your journey, let it be that there is always, always a reason to hope. Always a reason to continue on when all seems lost. Because even the butterfly was once a caterpillar, and it continued to dream despite the pain, despite all of the loneliness, and feeling as though there was no point to it all. Despite all of that, the caterpillar would endure. Deep down, hoping that all of this madness meant something in the end. The caterpillar had no idea that it would transform into something so majestic. And yet, within the secluded darkness of its cocoon, the caterpillar continued to hope for something more. And from the shell of its former self fluttered a greater form. And so ends the beginning of a story that is not mine alone. The caterpillar and the butterfly.